Good job, TMNT. Congratulations on the 100th episode, and what a way to do it, my gosh. Welcome back to Radio Shack, and yes, TMNT has made it to their 100th episode, and they pulled no punches. They went all out for this episode. It is crazy how this episode went down. But without further ado, let's get into it. The power inside her. Now, we start out this episode, and we see that Donnie is testing the powers of April with the crystal, kind of like how he was testing her powers back on the farm, but we hope this time it doesn't cause her to go blind and connect it to another mutant this time. But eventually it does go wrong, and things start floating in midair, spinning around, and everyone just is passed out. The others come to see what is going on, and they see that they have to get their crystal away from April because it's becoming more and more addictive for her. They have to eventually nail it down because it keeps trying to go back to her. We then catch up to Casey, who's out patrol by himself, and he runs into Tiger Claw, Razar, and Fishface, who are robbing an old crane base for more mutagen. And he tries to wait for the turtles because they don't want him taking them on by himself, but he can't. And he does pretty good by taking him down by himself and stealing the van. But we go back to the lair and we see Master Splinter meditating, and he starts to see what exactly is going on inside April's head. He starts to see space and the Aeons and the dark version of the Aeons. So things are getting pretty hectic. When April comes to, Master Splinter tells April that she needs to let go of the crystal because it's becoming more and more of an addiction. And suddenly the crystal breaks off of the nail and is starting to come towards April. Donnie tries to slow it down, but it eventually gets to April while she has Master Splinter in midair, and she uses a force choke on Donnie. It's crazy. But we eventually see her hovering over the city and see another personality take over and say that there are so many people who are in trouble and that need to be saved, but there's so much more who need to be stopped. She then sees Casey and goes to go stop Tiger Claw, Razar, and Fishface. And when she stops them, it goes down. Fishface tries to jump at her, but she stops him mid-air and rips one of his robot legs off. Razar tries to attack from behind, but she ends up throwing him and hitting him with a dumpster. Tiger Claw thinks he can take her down because he thinks the parlor tricks won't work on him. But it does. And she turns the Darth Vader force choke into a whole nother thing, like she's choking him while spinning him around at the same time. It's wild, bro. It's wild. The other turtles eventually catch up and see what is going on with April, and they have to try to catch her. Also, Donnie and Master Splinter are coming out of the rubble, and Donnie decides that he has to be the one to stop her, and he thinks he's the only one that can. We eventually end up at the Channel 6 tower, and the others have caught up to April, and they're trying to talk some sense into her, but she says it's not April anymore. It's Zanaran, I believe. So she ends up knocking them off of the building while we see Donnie climbing up, and he tries to talk some sense into her, but she says she has no other choice and gives into the crystal and eventually just obliterates Donnie. Like, we see his skeleton, his muscle structure, and it just looks like he's been ripped to pieces. Like, where are we now as a cartoon? We are getting so dark here. The others try to stop April because they have no other choice but to take her down. But she almost ends up obliterating Raph the same way she did Donnie, but they're able to jog her memory about all the good times she had with them stopping mutants and all the good times she had with Donnie. And she's able to destroy the crystal, and out comes the dark Aeon that has been inside the crystal this whole time and infusing himself with April that whole time she's had it. And April eventually destroys it, and we actually see back at the lair that she has more control over her powers now. It could be a good or a bad thing. But don't worry guys, Donnie is not gone forever. He's not dead. We found out that April only separated him molecule by molecule with billions and billions of pieces. And she was able to use her powers to bring him back together. So it's all good. Turtles are back. All four. Everybody's happy. Good job. But man, this episode was wild. Like, they pulled out all the stops for this 100 episode. Really great. I mean, great story arc for April. It's been for this season. So, good job. Congratulations on the 100 episode. I really enjoyed these past few episodes, but man, 2 weeks, why you gotta do this to me? Got me addicted. But if you enjoyed this episode, comment below, let me know what your favorite parts was. If you enjoyed my thoughts, my recap/review, hit the like button. It always helps out. If you're new here and you enjoy what you saw, we also talk Power Rangers and other superhero things. Yeah, and my last video will be linked in the description down below. And until my next video, I will see you later. Total power.